Alright, I want to send you guys a video how to configure your gradebook, how to make assignments with the standards-based grading system that we're going to use, and also show you how the standards-based grade will change depending on their most recent scores. So first thing, go to the gradebook. Also, if you didn't know, you can add to your favorites the things that you use the most frequently. That way when you log into MyStar, they're already there. Not sure if you knew that or not. So as you go to your marks and gradebook, you'll have to set up your gradebook just like you do every year. Some of the things you have to set up, some of them you do not have to. I'm using, this is Stairs second hour here as an example, so that's why it popped right up. If you go to setup right here, and you go to configuration, I'll tell you what you have set up already and what you still need to set up. So you can see from the Stairs classes the ones that she still has to do. I started working on her second hour right here. That's why it has the extra check on scoring options. You do not have to set up the groups for any of the classes, so those can be red X's and your gradebook will still work for you. If you start with preferences, I don't think there's anything in here that you have to change unless it's a preference of yours. I would probably just keep that the same. Options, same thing. There shouldn't be anything that you have to change. Make sure that this is as a numeric score because that's what we're going to be using, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think anybody even put in A, B, C, D as a grade for an assignment anyways. This portion does not matter because the grades are going to be calculated using the power law. So this portion doesn't even matter what you pick. Moving down here, make sure that you are sharing the assignment information with those that have access to Parent Connect. We do get calls sometimes from parents that say they can't see a certain teacher's gradebook, and then I usually just log in and fix it for you. So if you just make sure that this one is checked, that they can also see the current grade. We don't show averages ever, so make sure the averages aren't in there. We're not going to have percentages, so that portion doesn't matter, and you can always check all of these boxes and apply it to all of them when you press submit. That way you don't have to do the same process over and over and over again for all of your classes. Categories, you're really only going to have one category this year. I know before there was some summative and informative. I don't see the need for that. However, we are working through this for the first time, so maybe this will change. I just named hers testing, testing, testing. You can call it academic if you want. This is just what you flag the assignments for as when you're creating them. So sometimes people used to have like tests as an assignment or as a category. Homework was a different category, and then we could play around with the percentages to make sure that like the tests are counting as more. You should not have to do that for standards-based grading. And you can add different ones if you need to. I really don't see why we would need more than one at this point, but we will work through it, and maybe that will change. Grading scale, you should. I changed something. All right. Grading scale, you should see the default for the Simpson Middle School standards. That's going to be our all of our gradebook. So you can. I don't believe I had to add it. I think it was sitting right there. But there may have been an add button that I did before I started this sweet video. As you can see, here's what we're using: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Scoring options. This is where you do the absent, late work, all of those kinds of things, where you just kind of flag, you know, if something was late or if a kid was absent when it was done. You can do those categories here. Groups is what you don't have to do. That's if you want to create like almost a different classroom inside of your classroom. So if you have 3 kids that are, you know, super advanced and you want to have assignments made just for them, this is where you would do it. Again, you don't have to do that. You can copy the setup and paste it to other classes, so you don't have to again go through the setup for every individual one. So you can do that. But I'm going to jump right into assignments. So assignments, this is where you go to create a new assignment. MyStar is running super slow today, so nothing's really popping up. Oh, actually it did pop up because it says add here. So I'm going to add a new assignment, and there's several different places that you can do this. You can do it from this assignments tab. You can do it from a lot of these different tabs up here, just like in the past. So I'm going to add an assignment. go through, make the due date on the 3rd. So I'm going to make probably 3 assignments here. I'm going to have the due dates the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. The due date right here, sorry, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and play around with some of the standards-based grading scores, some of the proficiency ratings, and see how it changes their overall grades. So we'll just say like test assignment 1. Category, again, there's only 1. The weight, everything should be weighted the same. I'm not putting points possible here because this is going to be, I'm going to treat this like it's almost like a summative, like a checkpoint for me, like an official checkpoint where I want to see where the student is at. I'm going to make sure I check graded. And this is a part that I keep messing up on. You go to edit standards here. So we're going to align it with the standards. You can align it with more than one. So I'm going to pick the first one. And then you have to make sure that you press add standard right here. And then submit. If you just click on it, you don't press add standard, it doesn't add it. So I'm going to submit this one and go through and put in a couple of scores for her first couple of kids in that class. So again, you can go through just like in the past. Some of these are the same. You can go by task, click on the assignment that I just made. And here's where you would put in the score. And this would be like, this could be out of 100 right here. This is not a standards-based grade score. It's not a proficiency rating. I think we're going to find that we're going to use this more for assignments that are looking at individual learning targets as opposed to the entire standard and all the learning targets that go with it. But again, we are going to work through that a little bit and have some conversations at our first staff meeting or so. So I'm just going to go through and say these first 4 people received a 1, 2, 3, and a 4 on this assignment or this assessment. I'm going to press submit, and then I'm going to create a new assignment. Oh, actually, hold on a second. I'm not. I'm going to go to so these two tabs are new. You go to standards by student and you can pick whichever student you want. This would be useful if you're having a conversation with a parent or a student and you want to show how they're doing on the different standards. So at this point it shows, who's this, Chase's? Yeah, it shows Chase's progress here. And this mark will change as we add additional scores in and he starts to show proficiency, and we'll be able to see that. All of the assignments that are flagged with the different standards, you'll be able to go through and see how he's doing on each one. This is pretty informative here. Or you go task by standard, which will do this something similar, but it'll do it for your whole class. So right here, the standards picked angle, polygon, and you can see how the kids have done on that so far. Okay, so now I'm going to create another assignment, and I'm going to flag it with the same standard, but put a few different scores. So I'm going to change the due date. The due date really matters for standards-based grading because we are more concerned with what they have done lately than what they started off knowing and being able to do. So again, you could put the points possible in here, but this is going to be for the entire standard. There may be 4 or 5 learning targets that we're assessing with this, and I'm going to give on this assignment. So I'm going to give it a proficiency rating with the standard. So I'll go again and click on it, add standard. There it is. All right, now we're good to go. Submit. It's graded. Okay, I think we're good here. Then I'm going to just add the third one as well at the same time, and then I'll play around with some numbers, and you can see how things, how the grades change or how the proficiency ratings change. And I find myself saying grades a lot. I think we're going to see a lot of changes to the way we describe things with the move to standards-based grading, and I hope we see the same changes with parents and students as we get more focused on what they know and are able to do instead of saying a grade. Oh, what are we saying here? Test assignment, yeah, 3, graded, and I'm going to hit it with that first standard again. Hopefully you fast forwarded through this part of the video, because otherwise it's probably really boring. It's probably always been boring with us. All right, okay. Submit. Got the due dates right, I hope. I got to double check and make sure that second assignment I had the due date as the 4th. I think I did. Get my stars making this going really slow. 3rd, 4th. Why isn't the one I just did on here? So I just messed something up with that one that I just did, because I'm pretty sure I did the one for the 5th. All right, let's see if I can find that one. The 5th. What did I do? Oh, did I not put the standard on there? I thought I did. Add standard. Submit. Hopefully that was it. Okay. Task by standard. So again, you can go through and do grades by the task, just like you did before, for each of those assignments that we just created. Each of those assessments, we did 3 of them. So here's the score. Here are the scores for the first one that we put in: 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what would show up on their progress report or their report card. So if we change this and we go, 4, 3, 2, 1. And press submit. It doesn't update until you press submit. So before, those scores were 1, 2, 3, 4 as far as what was going to get reported on the progress report. So it'll be different now. It'll be different now. So now it has 4, 3, 2, 1, and that is because of what you have done recently is supposed to be a better reflection of what they know and are able to do. Now, if we look at the third one, maybe we put 2s in for all of them. You'll see again, they're still not, they're still different here. So this is saying that this person would be probably their best guess. Again, the best guess for the system is that this person would score 3 if they were to do it again, kind of in between what they just did here and here. Whereas this student's scores have been all over the place. They did really well in the beginning, horrible, or didn't know anything, maybe squeaked out an extra learning target, so it's predicting a 1. The more assignments that you have in here, the more assessments where you are really looking to see how they do on all of the learning targets, the more accurate this score will be. But you could go through and play around with these and just kind of get a feel for what the system will spit out for them. But you can see that it doesn't average together the numbers. There is no averaging. The system is predicting. Okay, so that's all I wanted to show you guys today, how to set up the gradebook and also how to make an assignment. I know this video is long. It's going to be about 13 minutes, but I hope it's helpful. I hope it's something that you can look back at if you need to pull out a certain piece. And we're going to be talking about this the whole first semester. I'm sure we're going to have a ton of questions, and we're going to run into some, I want to say snafus, but I don't want to say that, some problems, and we'll figure it out. Thank you guys for watching this, and and have a nice day. All right, I gotta stop it. Where'd my thing go? There we go.